How much money does an aviation YouTuber make? Why don't I fly economy class more often? And why am I so annoying? I answer all these questions and much more this week as I take a side quest to take 2 British Airways flights in one day. Well, I was supposed to be having a bit of a day off today here in Amsterdam, but instead I've decided to go on a bit of a side quest. So come along with me and I'm going to answer a few of your frequently asked questions and give you a bit of a hint of what it's like behind the scenes as I take one of my trips. So let's head over to the terminal because we've got a couple of flights to take today. Right, so I'm popping over to London and back today because I figured that I am just 2 sectors short of getting my status renewed with British Airways. And with the day off, I can just pop over to Gatwick and back and then get my status renewed. That is the plan. So we're going to head across to the gate. We're going to take a flight with BA into Gatwick, quick turn, and then come back here to Amsterdam in time for tea. So I guess I should start really with a bit of an update of where I am on this trip, because one of my main questions I get asked is what are these trips like when I'm on them. So to give you a bit of an idea, I'm about halfway through this trip right now. I'm about 10 days in. So essentially this trip's taken me from America across to Italy, up to London, over to Albania, over to Azerbaijan and Kazakhstan, where I spent a few days. And then from Kazakhstan came across to Italy, did a bit in Italy as well. And then from Italy, obviously come here to Amsterdam, and that's where we are so far. And then tomorrow, continue on, crossing the Atlantic into South America, doing a bit around South America as well. I'm filming typically at least 1 video a day, sometimes 2, occasionally 3 on these trips. And I literally film a video, travel, get to a hotel, go to sleep for a few hours, wake up, and then I'm on another flight the next day. It's kind of 2 to 3 weeks of constant traveling day in, day out. So that's why I never really spend much time in any one place, because at the end of the day, these trips, I'm trying to make them as compact as possible, because I've got a family back home, you know, I want to be home with the kids. And the whole reason of me doing this as my job was to get away from being at work every single day, traveling every single day. So these trips, basically I try and get as much done as I can in a short period of time to be able to bring as much content as I can really from every trip. It's exhausting. It absolutely wears you out, but it's good fun. I do get to do some really cool things. Alright, so it seems that BA do no longer have a lounge here at Schiphol Airport. Apparently it's shut down now, which is brilliant. And we've got to go and sit on the cafe floor apparently, which is apparently near gate D7. So the reason I'm doing this little, we'll call it a mileage run, it's not really a mileage run, it's more of a segment run today, is because my BA One World status is about to run out, and to be honest, I'm not actually sure I want to continue with BA because their redemptions over in the States are pretty much terrible really. I can't really get reward availability with American Airlines, which is a bit frustrating because that's the one that I tend to end up using the most over there when I'm needing to get a quick flight somewhere to connect in from a trip like this, for instance. So I'm not entirely sure I'm going to stay with BA after I've done it this time, but to be fair, I'm like 2 sectors away from getting another entire year of status with them. So what I'm thinking about doing is just getting this status today and then maybe look at switching to one of the other One World airlines, maybe Alaska or American, potentially, to see if I can get status with them as well. Although to be honest, One World don't have the best airlines really. I mean, aside from Qatar Airways and maybe JAL, Japan Airlines, One World Airlines seems to be a bit crap really, so whether I actually bother getting another year after this with One World, I'm not entirely sure. Watch this space.
Hey. It's VA business class.
Hi, thank you. Thank you. I didn't realise that by saying the word cafe floor, it literally meant the cafe floor, but there is nowhere else to sit, so I'm standing on the cafe floor. It's the new BA lounge experience here in Schiphol. Finally got a seat, someone's gone, so I managed to nab a seat. So one of the questions I get asked like all the time is how on earth do I find some of these cheap flights that I managed to find? And to be honest, it kind of varies. I often say that my job is kind of 90% travel agent and sort of 10% actually doing the rest of the work. Because when I'm not traveling, I'm looking at flights constantly, trying to find good deals and things like that. You've just got to be open to being flexible. Google Flights is a good place to start because you can get like a little map showing you where it's cheapest from any particular destination, which is always quite cool. And you can filter it down by like business class and stuff like that and say, right, let's look at business class fares. Where can we get to that's cheap? Where can we fly from that's cheap? Because usually where you fly from is the key rather than where you're flying to. So if you want to fly out of the UK, don't fly out of the UK, because you'll save a lot of money by flying out of Amsterdam or out of Dublin or places like that. When I used to live in the UK, it used to be quite straightforward. I could always get a cheaper flight to the US from Dublin than I could ever get from the UK, and also from across Europe as well, Eastern Europe particularly, like Sofia is always a good one. The Scandinavian countries, Oslo, Stockholm, Copenhagen, usually pretty cheap for flights as well. Look at flights from those places and then get a cheapo Ryanair deal across to those places or something like that, EasyJet or something, to connect in. I also use Flyer Talk, I've mentioned it before, it's a website. They have a premium fare deals forum on there. I'll pop a link on the screen to Flyer Talk, you can go find that forum there, and you get notified people find cheap fare deals, and they generally, you can snap them up pretty quickly and get some quite good deals that way as well. A lot of the time as well, I only take one-way trips. The other way you can do it to try and save some money, if you take one way in business class and then the return leg in economy class, for example, or the other way around. Some airlines let you do that. It's just a case of being flexible, really, and being open, and that's the good thing about what I do, is that I can be flexible. It doesn't really matter where I go. I don't necessarily have to go to anywhere in particular. I just go where the flights are cheap, and that's how I can sometimes get these deals. I've got the time and the availability to be able to just go wherever the cheap flights are. Right, then time to head down to the gate for my flight over to Gatwick. Hopefully it'll be a little bit quieter down there than it was in that lounge. You know, in all the flights I've ever done with BA, I don't think I've ever actually been on one of their flights to Gatwick before, which is interesting. I mean, I guess it's just, it was always too far away when I used to live back in the UK to actually consider even thinking about flying from. But yeah, they've got a little operation running out there with A320s. This is a Gatwick-based one by the look of it, because the registration is Gat you. Got you, baby, got you, I got you. And yeah, so this is going to take me over to Gatwick. Maybe even this would be the one that brings me back to Amsterdam this afternoon, I don't know.
Please wait behind the line. We'll open it in like 3 minutes.
Okay, yeah, so wait, where, sorry, just at the bottom of the bridge, yeah? All right, thank you. All right. Hi, how are you? Thank you. Right, so welcome on board the British Airways A320 across to Gatwick. I think this is the same one that's going to bring me back in about 2 hours' time as well. Looking at flight radar, this is one that's slated. This is one of the problems with BA. Look at the leg room here, it's a bit crap, and it's just obviously a standard Euro business class seat with the middle seat blocked off, really. So not the best. But hey, it's like an hour-long ride over to London, then about another hour back to Amsterdam, so it shouldn't be too bad at all. So it seems the APU's packed up on this one, so they're starting the engines at the gate to try and get some airflow through the cabin, and obviously to get them started. Hopefully he'll be on his way soon. So we've pushed back from the gate, but now we've got to wait because a passenger has decided to leg it to the bathroom. So they've had to hold the taxi while this guy decides to go for a wee. Brilliant. Right then, now he's finished on the loo, we can get airborne, and we're now airborne from Amsterdam, heading across to London. We'll be back on the ground in Amsterdam in about 2 hours, actually. Now the next question that I'm going to answer really is one of the questions that I get asked all the time, and that is about fear of flying and any tips that I can have as a frequent traveller and a pilot, albeit a private pilot, for people who have a fear of flying. The biggest thing really for me is to learn as much as you can about aviation, and when I say that I mean watch YouTube videos, not necessarily buy YouTube videos, but you can watch videos from airline pilots. There's loads of them all over YouTube from actual commercial airline pilots talking about operations, how it all works. Learn as much as you can about aviation, because once you learn about it, it becomes less of a fear. I think the biggest takeaway I have really, even on some of the most dodgy flights that I fly on in some really sketchy parts of the world, things very rarely go wrong. It's not very often that planes have issues. As if these planes are flying thousands of flights every year. The crews that are on these planes are flying thousands of flights every single year. Very rarely any of them have an issue. I mean, I know commercial pilots who've gone through their entire career and never had a single emergency to deal with. That's common, that's normal. If they do have an emergency, it's very rare. Now here's the thing about BA and their business class. Look, their seats may be absolutely crap for flights like this, then just standard 3-3 seats, especially on some of these A320s, they're really tight. But the food service is pretty decent. This is a sort of 20-minute flight across the North Sea, and it's just a salad selection today, but it's not bad at all, really. The fact that they've just been able to knock this up together. It's even got a warm cob, which is quite nice. Right, the next question: why did we decide to move to America? And out of all of America, why did we decide to move to Texas? And well, it's been something that's basically been our dream as long as we can remember. It's been like a second home to us for so many years now, the amount of time we've spent over there. And really it just seemed like the natural step for us, for our kids, to be able to grow up with the ability to enjoy the outdoors and things, and actually have a great standard of living growing up, and hopefully give them something that we feel is better in the States than it is in the UK. So that's kind of why America, and of course why Texas specifically. Well, originally we'd looked at moving to Georgia. It was a place that we'd been to many times. We did enjoy Georgia, it was nice. In terms of actually livability there for us, we needed somewhere really that was near to a major airport, and really to be able to live in Georgia we'd have to live near Atlanta, which was somewhere that we didn't particularly enjoy. We liked the rural side more of Georgia. And then we visited Texas and we found some amazing rural communities out there that are still relatively close to airports. There's two major international airports in Texas. You've got Dallas up in the north and Houston down in the south. I visited Dallas, found some amazing people up there who just were so friendly and welcoming. And then Rachel and Dad visited Houston and found exactly the same thing down in the south. The people were just absolutely incredible. I mean, in the end it was Houston that sort of ended up winning, really. Rachel went with her dad, and again they found just such amazing, lovely people down there. The weather was nice and warm year round. Dallas was nice throughout the year, but in the winter it was a little bit cooler, and we wanted somewhere that was going to be a little bit warmer in the winter months for Rachel's health and for her mum and dad's health as well. Somewhere that was going to be nice and warm year round rather than cold and damp in those winter months. And also we found out towards Houston, not necessarily in Houston, but towards Houston, it's just an incredible part of the world. There is forests. Where we live, we're out in the forest. We've got acres of land for the kids to run around in. We can spend time by the pool pretty much year round. And you know what? The people in Texas and in our part of Texas have been so unbelievably welcoming to us. From the day we moved in, we've been treated like a Texan. Where else could you move in on day one? You've got no electric because the power hasn't been put on yet. And you've got neighbours rallying around to come and help you, bring you water and things like that, helping you out, lending you stuff because our stuff was still in the container on the way over. Day one, we met most of our neighbours where we live because they were all so lovely. And I think that's the thing that I bet there's other places in America that are like that, but there's not many other places in America that are like that and also have access to airports and facilities and things like that we do. Living about an hour north of Houston. Alright, let's start our descent down into Gatwick. And there's England out the window. The scenery of Kent. Alright then, welcome to Gatwick. I've got about an hour here on the ground and then back on another BA flight to Amsterdam. So let's see how easy this connection is to get through here and get back to Amsterdam.
Okay, bye-bye.
We do hope to see you. Thank you.
And then welcome to Gatwick. Time to head through and get my flight back to Amsterdam. I think it's the same plane. We're going to find out. I'm starting to think I might have to go through passport control, as we've sort of been directed round to arrivals rather than transfers. This may not be as easy as I thought. Right, that wasn't too bad, straight through in a couple of minutes. And I've not even had time to stop at Greg's, so I'm going to have to get back through to security, wherever that is.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm alright. Yeah, straight through.
Alright, thank you. That was all incredibly easy through security in a couple of minutes. Probably helps I've left all my stuff back at the hotel in Amsterdam, so, so I haven't got much in my bag really. But right, let's get through to the departure area. I think I've got a little bit of time before we start boarding. The good old gift shop at the end of the roller coaster again. Wonder where we're going to get our photos. Briefly time to pick up some essentials. Yes. Alright then. Hey. Munchie munch. Miss these so much. That's good. So I guess the next question really, people ask me all the time, it's more of a complaint that people have, I think, but that is, why do I fly in business class so much and not in economy class like 90% of people fly in? And I guess the real answer to that is because 90% of people fly in economy and know what it's like. Now, flying in economy is great, I do quite a lot of videos in economy, but in terms of video content, it's kind of difficult to make a video in economy, because effectively you've got to make a 20-minute odd video about a seat and maybe a packet of peanuts, and that's pretty much it. It doesn't tend to make for very interesting content a lot of the time. Now that said, if there's a bit of a story behind it, for example a really cool airline or a really unique route or something like that, then yeah, definitely there's something there that you can have that makes that video more interesting in economy. But for the most part, economy class flying is not necessarily great for video content. Compare it to business class. You take a flight in business class, you've got a lounge to review, you've got the food, you've got amazing seats in business class too that you can show people around and stuff. You get amenity kits, you get nicer bathrooms sometimes to do the loo reviews in as well. All those extra things make for more interesting content, whereas if you're in economy, kind of once you've seen one economy seat, you've kind of seen them all really, and there's not really much that you can do to make that into an interesting video, like I say, unless there is something else there that makes it more interesting, like some more of a story, like when I flew around the world on low-cost airlines, for instance. That makes a better story for YouTube really. So that's, I guess, the reason why. That's probably why you don't see many YouTubers do videos in economy class as much, because the truth, the honest truth is that people aren't as interested in them as they are videos in business class, and it's just the way the algorithm works. If you like economy videos, then maybe watch a few more. Maybe sit and watch some people's economy class videos, because then the more you watch them, the more YouTube's algorithm will present them to you, the more popular those videos will do, and creators will start to think, hang on a minute, we could actually start making some economy class videos here. This certainly benefit my pocket to be able to do that, that's for sure. Yeah. Thank you.
Take a seat.
Yeah, no worries, thank you. Thank you to this week's video sponsor, Surfshark, who always come to the rescue whenever I want to watch some British TV when I'm travelling. Surfshark is a VPN provider, and what that means quite simply is that you can use their software to connect to the internet from anywhere in the world and make it look like you're just at home, which has some really good benefits. For instance, I could be sitting here by a sunny pool in Vietnam and watching some Top Gear on my phone. It lets me watch EastEnders here in the middle of the Australian outback. Oh yeah, I'll have a Castlemaine 4X, please, mate. Cheers. Surfshark even lets me catch up with Only Fools and Horses while I'm here in New York. Now, Surfshark are offering you a massive 83% discount plus 3 months free when you use my promo code Noel Phillips at the link on the screen now. What are you waiting for? Even Baby Shark approves.
You're invited to go in the flight deck. You want to take some cookies in a minute.
wicked,
Whereabouts
that'd be
on
nice.
Saturday?
3 Alpha.
3 Alpha. I'll come and get you in a second when Dan gets back.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Right then, back on board the same plane heading back over to Amsterdam. I was just chatting to the captain, and apparently the APU's fixed now. They've been tinkering with it while it's been on the ground here in Gatwick, so fingers crossed we've got my Scotch egg. Yes.
Valentina, and on behalf of the entire crew, welcome on board this British Airways 05 flight to Amsterdam.
Now, one question that I do get asked all the time is how annoyed you must be if you were a passenger sitting at the side of me while I was talking, or indeed any airline vlogger, how annoying it must be being sat next to it, just sat talking constantly. Well, to be honest, that's the reason why I always hold my microphone up to my mouth like this, because if I move my microphone away, you can't hear me. If I put it on my shirt, you can't hear me. You can't hear me. So that's part of the reason I hold it up there, but also that's so that I can keep my voice pretty quiet. And I'll demonstrate that now. If I move you into the middle seat here, and I'm going to show you what it sounds like to the passenger next to me, and the passenger on the aisle, even less so. Actually, I try and keep my voice down as much as possible and not to be intrusive, and also, you know, if somebody doesn't want to be in the video, and I usually get chatting to people at the side of me in the flight anyway, if they don't want to be in the video, that's absolutely fine. I make sure that I sort of pull the camera away from them a bit, or if I do accidentally catch them, they'll be blurred out. 99% of the time, I end up chatting to the people at the side of me about the flights that I'm taking and the YouTube channel and all the rest of it. People are absolutely fine with it. We end up just chatting and getting their, a lot of the time, getting their contact details so I can pass on the video at the end of it. So that's, yeah. People generally are pretty nice, and if they don't want to be on the video, that's fine as well. We can sort it out and we can work with it. Alright, so now for the important question, and one that I get asked again all the time, or at least see commented on all the time, how I must be a millionaire or extremely wealthy to be able to afford all of the flights that I take. And well, I'll be honest with you, little secret here, if I was a millionaire, I would find something much easier to do than trying to run a YouTube channel to make money. It's not easy. It's been a lot of hard work. My story, basically, I grew up on a council estate in Leicester. I met my wife, Rachel, we spent some time, obviously married for a few years, and by the time I started this YouTube channel, I was not particularly good with money. I got us into a situation where we were effectively about 30 grand in debt. Not a good situation. That situation obviously caused a few issues, and it was round about at that point that I decided that I needed to do something. I'd got us into this mess. It was up to me to get out of this mess, really, and that's why, while I was working in IT, I focused on getting the YouTube channel going, getting it running, and starting off from scratch, trying to do everything I could to get us out of the mess that I got us into. And it took a long time. It took a seriously long time, hard work. I was working full-time in my IT job, coming home and working another full-time job trying to grow a YouTube channel at the same time. All in an effort to kind of get us out of the mess that I got us into and get into a better situation. It took a long time, it was hard work. And I guess that's some advice really for people who want to start doing what I'm doing and what Josh and Paul are doing and Jeb and people like that. You know, if you want to start doing a YouTube channel full time, you can do it. Like, I've proven that you can do it. I've started from literally nothing and been able to, with hard work, not just from me but from the whole family as well, been able to get us to the point where actually it's self-sustainable and able to pay our wage at the same time. And the way it works now, I've mentioned it in previous videos too, but it's a business. It's a company that we run. We're employed by the company, other employees as well work for the company too. We take home a bit of a salary at the end of the day, but all the flights that I take come out of the company coffers. That effectively allows us to keep making content, and the better the channel does, the more content we can do and the more content I can make. It is a lot of hard work. Running a YouTube channel is not an easy job, no matter what people might think. A lot of people think that I just fly on planes all the time, and this is all I do, is just sit on planes, drinking tea, drinking wine or whatever. It really is not like that. I wish it was all like that. After this trip, this 2-week trip of doing 2-3 videos a day, I'll go home and I'll have a couple of months before my next trip. But that couple of months again, I'll be working 7 days a week. We all will. 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. It's just the norm. It's what you do. Anybody who's got a business will know that that's how it works, you know. You never stop, and it is exhausting. It is really exhausting. It's rewarding, massively rewarding when you see it start to grow, but it don't half tire you out. But if you want to do this as your job, well, I can give you a couple of pieces of advice. Go for it is the main thing. Stick at it is the next thing. You know, I'm living proof that you can go from nothing to having a business like this, making money, supporting your family, taking you places you'd never dream of being in your life. And that's all just come with a little bit of hard work. You've got to work for it, and that's it. If you're willing to work for it, you can have it.
afternoon again everyone, and welcome to Amsterdam. The local time is 1 hour ahead of the United Kingdom, so presently we are looking at just coming up for 6:15 in the evening.
I'd like to say thank you to my amazing Patreons for their ongoing support. You can join them at the link on the screen now for access to my WhatsApp group, regular Zoom calls with me, and much more. Thank you very much for you guys.
Oh, thank you so much. Will do.
Thank you.
Lovely to
All
meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Thank you guys. See you later. You see, the thing is, a few years ago, I would never have dreamed of the day that I would be able to do this as my job, flying around the world on planes. It's what I did as my hobby, it's what I loved to do before anyway, and now I get paid for doing it. I would never have dreamed of being able to do that. And yet with the support of my family and those closest to me, well, I've been able to achieve my dreams and make this my job somehow. It's crazy. And the thing is, I'm not the only one. I've not got a unique set of skills. I'm the only person that can do this. Anybody can do this. If you've got a dream and you want it hard enough, then you can achieve it too. If I can do it, then anybody can do it, really. So do it. If you want to start that YouTube channel, if you want to do this as your job, or in fact anything at all, you can do it too. You know, it's easy to do. It's within reach for anybody, really. If you're willing to put in the work and you've got the support of those around you, then you could be doing this too. Hi there.
Here you go. Have a good
Thanks very much. Yeah, have a good one. Bye bye. So here we are then, back in Amsterdam at Schiphol Airport. After a really cool afternoon, just flying across to London and back, I'm glad I've managed to get my BA status renewed, even if I'm not sure quite what I'm doing with it yet going forward. But hey, I've got One World lounge access and stuff for another year now, just for the sake of taking those 2 flights to Gatwick and back. I am really thankful to you for watching this video and watching all of my videos actually, because I wouldn't be where I am now without you lot watching as well. You know, this is what makes the channel what it is and what allows me to be able to do this. I appreciate you all so much, I really do. And if you've got any questions that you'd like me to answer in a future video, please drop them down in those comments. I'm more than happy to be as open and transparent as I can be about everything I do, because, well, what's the point in doing it if you're not? But yeah, in the meantime, well, I'm off to my hotel again because I've got one more night here in Amsterdam, and then tomorrow I'm off on a super cool adventure across the Atlantic to South America. So make sure you stay tuned until next week to see that video. But in the meantime, thank you as always for watching, take care, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.